Yo, what's going on, homies? It's your boy Stump back for another OPTC video, and in today's video, we're diving into the treasure map versus Fuji and Green Ball to Super Evolve Akainu with some boss and intrusion teams that don't involve utilizing MORLEY Karasu as a friend captain. Now, I probably won't use these teams as a playthrough option, but I know a lot of people out there are going to be looking for teams that can help them clear the final boss and the intrusion without needing a friend captain. So today is a true no new unit team. We're not including any of the treasure map units on our teams, nor are we using them as a friend captain, as I mentioned. I have two different teams for you guys for each the boss and the intrusion. One that doesn't use the New Year's units, and then the other one that does. So I will dive in the order of the boss and the intrusion for no New Year's units, and then the boss and the intrusion for New Year's characters. Obviously, if you have the New Year's characters, you're going to be getting a little bit more of a buff because you get a 1.4 times buff with the points. So if you have the New Year's characters, you probably want to try and bring them. But obviously, we need to sort of take down the content and then bid with what's in front of us. So, starting off with Fuji and Green Ball, who are the final boss character. They basically built the team for you, but we're not using any of these characters because, like I said, we're doing a no new unit team first. Strength, Dex, and in characters get all the good stuff. You get a full board of poison slots and poison on turn 2, 8 turns of attack down and paralysis, 3 turns of an attack down if your chain is 2.4 or less. I always forget about that, actually. And normal attacks only. On defeat, the enemy runs away and comes back on the last stage. With a weakness to cerebral characters, your left-hand column gets special reversed, your right-hand column gets special bound. There's 2 turns of special limit, full immunity, normal attacks only, 6 turns of threshold, and you get a full board of paralysis orbs. So, the team looks like this. We will be utilizing a, what's it called? We will be using a friend captain, Sabo, for this particular team. Sabo is going to give us a, nice cerebral and fighter-based captain, which this entire team actually is. We have Luffy and Koala to trigger his EX, so we get a full board of 10 mobs as well on the final stage. Koala's bypassing the special reverse, and then Sabo's going to remove the special bind, which is really, really cool. On turn 2, we have to get around a bunch of attack down, and that's where the supports of Grandpa Hio on Luffy come into play, as well as the Karina special. Karina is going to give an orb buff, as well as remove 6 turns of attack down. We have the Sanji support to remove the poison, which will remove the poison slots. And then we have the Luffy special to give us, I believe he give us color affinity as well. But he removes the paralysis by 6 turns, so that's pretty handy. And then we need one more turn of paralysis, actually, which I forgot to do here, which needs to be the Karasu support to remove some more paralysis. Now, with this particular team, I do have the Whale Shark ship that is actually going to help us out. Actually, I forgot to do this as well. The Whale Shark ship helps us out with 1 turn of paralysis, but you do have the support of Kizaru on Akainu. So with this team, you have the 6 turns of paralysis from Luffy, 1 turn from Karasu, 1 from Kizaru, so that's all your 8 turns. Your 8 turns of attack down, and then the only downside is that on turn 2, you are going to struggle a little bit because you have the what's it called? Because you have the attack down below a certain chain multiplier. So that's really going to be the only hindrance with this particular team. But what you actually can do is utilize the Vegapunk special. Well, no, we can't. We need the paralysis. You could probably use the Vegapunk special. No, you can't even do that. That's unfortunate. But look, you're still going to hit above a 2.4 chain if you hit all your perfects. You're going to clock out at 2.5, so your last unit is going to hit very, very hard. So it shouldn't be that big of an issue. If you really need to as well, you could swap, like I said, swap Vegapunk and Luffy. Use a different ship that gives you an attack down removing support. So like something like the, what's it called? The Gran Tesoro, and then you could use like this Bonnie support if you have it on either Luffy or on Vegapunk. That's going to help you get around all the attack down, and you can just bypass it that way. Vegapunk's great because he has the limit break ability with limit break expansion that removes the special limit, so make sure you've done that if you are using this particular team. He's going to rotate the paralysis orbs on the final stage. Akainu has like a pseudo double special activation because he's going to remove 5 turns of threshold and then another 1 turn of threshold, which is great. And that gets around all of the 5 turns of 6 turns of threshold, I think it is, which is very nice. And then he can also apply and extend like this end of turn healing shenaniganry. And then finally we have Sabo, who can give us the full board of orbs, as well as give us a what's it called? A advantageous buff for cerebral characters. Now, Unfortunately, there's no one really hitting with type advantage here besides Koala, who is not a cerebral character, but Koala does give us color affinity. She gives us a bunch of healing as well, which is going to be really, really handy. If we need it on turn 2, we can definitely use this on turn 2. But like I said, we should be in for a pretty fine time regardless. Now, if you want to as well, you could definitely use something like a chain boosting support on Koala if you have the whale shark ship, so you don't need that extra turn of paralysis. But like I said, that's sort of the team here. It's not exactly going to do the most damage, and turn 2 is going to be a little bit iffy, but that's basically what we're working with here. Moving on to the Intrusion fight now against Akainu, or Sakazuki. Basically, they want you to use Sabo and Luffy in the middle slots because there's a captain swap on turn 2, and then obviously using the rare recruits down the bottom with the new legend. Cerebral Free Spirit fighters get all the good stuff. You get that captain swap to your middle row, as I mentioned. They are basically going to turn into the captain, and then you're going to have to be that captain. It's only for 2 turns though, so like they'll go in and then they'll come out straight away. So you kind of still want to have a very strong captain nonetheless. You get a full board of block and paralysis orbs. Bottom row gets special reverse for 4 turns, and then the enemy locks the special reverse for 2 turns, 2 perfects. You get 99% attack down with any type orbs or recovery. Normal attacks only, full immunity. If you do any slot changing, you're going to get a full board of block orbs. On defeat, the enemy runs away, comes back being weak to free spirit. And if your top right is strength, dex, or quick, you have to deal with paralysis. And if your top right is silent int, you have to deal with despair. So obviously, Luffy can take care of the paralysis, Sabo takes care of the despair, and that's basically what they want you to be doing here. As for the rest of the stuff, there's burn, territory, 6 turns of defense, a damage reduction, normal attacks only, full immunity, and then you get a full board of block orbs once again. Remember, if you swap any block orbs into matching that isn't through an EX or a super type or anything like that, the enemy is going to give them back to block and blow away 1 random crewmate. It does say 1 random crewmate. I'm assuming that means your 4 sailors. So like you could always just like use a special if you need something like Garb to remove damage reduction, and then you can use an EX after that. But the team looks like this. The idea of this particular team is we want to use a crocodile as our friend captain. The 6+ crocodile can remove paralysis, which is really, really nice to get around like paralysis orbs. But the idea here is our middle row characters, they are going to be they're going to be either strength, dex, or quick. So that way we're just dealing with paralysis on the final stage. Having Crocodile as a friend captain allows us to get his super class with the Moby Dick ship. That way you start at 50% HP. You're automatically getting that procced. And that way you can have him swap into captain, and you can do some fun stuff there. If you want, you could just slap on the Luffy unit, the treasure map Luffy like we're doing on the final boss fight, or literally if you have the new Luffy, you just put the new Luffy there, and that's going to trigger Crocodile's what's it called? That's going to trigger Crocodile's super class as well. Unfortunately, we don't really have a way to get like all the shenanigans that we need with like the 2 super classes and the 1 super type, because we're not using Garp and stuff like that. So just be mindful of that when you are putting together a team, if you wanted to do something like that. The upside to Crocodile is he can rotate block orbs with his super class as well. So that's why having him as a friend captain is great. And obviously we have him on the team, which means that we're going to be able to do some pretty fun stuff there. Unlike the other team where like Sabo, like we don't actually have. But if you want, you just bring someone else that's just immune to special bind over here, and that should work out pretty hunky-dory as well. They're probably not going to be boosted, but at the same time, you'll still be able to get it done. On turn 2, we have to deal with the captain swap, special reverse, and the attack down with certain slots. The idea here is that we can actually use Atlas to remove that attack down with certain slots. She can also remove damage reduction, which is really handy for the final stage. And on turn 2, you can super swap with Nami Karina, and that's going to give you a full board of G orbs, and that way you don't have to worry about turn 2. And then you can use the Crocodile, friend captain's super class, to give yourself a full board of orbs in the final stage. With the full board of orbs, you can then use Atlas, remove the attack down with a certain multiplier, and then you're good to go there. As for the burn, I don't really have anything for the burn. The super class of super class of Crocodiles can give us HP guard, so that's going to help us take down the burn as well. Nami Karina can give us an orb buff because we have the the damage reduction removal thanks to Atlas and Nami. Or no, not Nami, Sanji Pudding. So that's going to work out pretty nice. To Sanji Pudding have the Mistim support, so they get 3 turns of cooldown there. Crocodile can give them an extra 1 turn of cooldown. That way you get the 4, so you're getting color affinity with them. So you have Orbs with Nami Karina, attack with Crocodile or Atlas. Atlas actually double stacks all buffs, I think. I'm thinking about it. Yeah, she double stacks all buffs. So you got attack boost with Crocodile or Atlas. Orb boosting with Nami Karina. Color affinity with Sanji and Pudding. And basically, that's all you really need. Akainu, he's just here for points. Just replace him if you need to. He's really not doing all that much for the team. Moving on to the New Year's batch teams now. This is the team I actually put out with the regular New Year's video. This team actually works with a Morley Karasu friend captain still. Or you can actually use a Crocodile friend captain. The 6+ Crocodile is going to work absolutely fine here as well. Basically, anyone else that can just remove paralysis is going to be really, really nice as a friend captain. I would say you could use Luffy, but like Luffy doesn't remove paralysis when you get paralysis orbs, so like that's kind of a downside to the character. But the team looks like this. This is what we're rocking. If you want, actually, you probably could. No, because Akainu's not getting his EX, and neither is Whitebeard and Ace. Yeah, it's a bit of a shame. But basically, this particular team, like I said, works with Karasu and Morley, and then also works with 6+ Crocodile. Or you could just, like I said, use like Nami Karina, basically anyone that's going to remove paralysis for you. On turn 2, Sabo and the Shiryu support is going to remove the poison, which is really, really nice. And then basically what we want to do is we want to use everyone on the left-hand column. So Crocodile can remove the paralysis on turn 2. Whitebeard and Marco are going to remove the attack down. They also give us a chain buff to get above that chain multiplier, and then basically you can kill from there. You can use the Luffy special too. Luffy's just going to give you more damage on turn 2. Unfortunately, he's going to get special reversed. It is what it is. It's 10 turns. You can't really get around that. If you want to bring like a Koala as a friend captain, like that's going to bypass the special reverse, but then you're stuck with the paralysis, and you have to use something like Vegapunk on that particular turn, and then find a way to get around paralysis with like the paralysis orbs, maybe a support that like triggers when you use a special, like that could work, but this is going to work for now. As to the final stage, the Vegapunk's going to remove the paralysis orbs. He also has that special limit removal. Akainu is going to remove the threshold, and then Sabo can remove the special bind as well, so that way you basically have this entire right-hand column working for you. Sabo also removes the burn. We have Luffy on the team, and we have Ace, so you get his EX in that as well, so it should be pretty nice. Should be no issues with this particular team. I don't really see it having any issues regardless. And if you have a Morley Karasu friend captain, you have the Luffy special on the final stage, so should work out pretty nicely. As for the Intrusion, we are pretty much using the same team that I put out in that same video. However, I just brought in Atlas, and the reason I brought in Atlas is because Atlas can remove the attack down with a certain orb buff, but she can also remove the damage reduction, which is really, really nice. Also, now that I'm thinking about it, you could probably just like put Sanji Pudding here. Like Sanji Pudding is actually going to be way better because they just remove the damage reduction and they give you a color affinity buffs. Yeah, so that's gonna work out way nicer actually. On turn 2, you're either going to get swapped into Luffy or you're going to get swapped into Sabo. When you get swapped into either of them, you can activate the Sabo EX and then activate the Akainu super type. That's going to make Luffy go into gear 5 if you are the Luffy captain. With that, when you move into the final stage, Sabo's going to bypass the Despair, or Luffy's going to get around the Paralysis. We have the support of Rayleigh and Karasu for 3 extra turns, and with this particular team, we are looking at utilizing a Sabo as a friend captain. That is the plan. But again, if you find Morley and Karasu, you can use Morley and Karasu. They're going to work out absolutely fine as a friend captain as well. Sabo's going to remove the burn. Luffy gives you increased damage taken. Akainu and Garp, we're actually not using their specials in this team. Akainu is literally just here because he's a 1.4 booster. Garp's a 1.35. He's triggering the super type for Akainu. And Sanji Pudding are going to get around the damage reduction. So that should work out pretty nice. Pretty good. Pretty fun. As for the rest of the team, like I wanted to bring Whitebeard and Ace here, but like if you bring Whitebeard and Ace, then you have to bring Morley Karasu as a friend captain. And then you're using Garp, the Garp special, and the Garp special can remove damage reduction. But, what's it called? But then it also triggers the interrupt with the blow away, and then you have to use the Morley Karasu special after. So this particular team should work out fine. Like I said, bring Sabo as a friend captain. Sabo is going to be your best option for more points if you can't find Morley and Karasu there. So that's going to wrap up the video. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, do all that good stuff. Most importantly, wherever you guys are in this beautiful world, please remember to enjoy the rest of your day. As always, homies, thank you for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one. Nerds!